Good morning, students. Welcome once again to the online classes of Academic World School, Bemetra. Dear students, today we are going to learn about the bases and its properties and about the indicators. If you remember, in my previous session, I told about the acid and its properties. And I have also given you the introductions about acid, base and the salt. So same thing again I want to repeat as an introduction of the base. You know that we all are eating the different type of the food, we are using the different type of the things also. As far as the food is concerned, the foods are very tasty. The taste may be the sour taste, maybe the sweet, maybe the bitter, like that. But here we are considering only the bitter taste. Sometimes while bathing, you might have been tasted the taste of the soap. That is how bitter is it. Now the question comes, why some foods are the bitter, some of the things are having the bitter? They are bitter because of the basic substances. It contains the base. So today we are going to learn more about the base. If you remember again, in my previous session, I have told you the different concept of the acid and base. Out of that I told you the Arrhenius theory, Lowry-Bronsted theory and the Lewis concept. So now again I want to remind you, according to the Arrhenius theory, Lowry-Bronsted theory and the Lewis concept, what do we mean by the base? First of all, you see the Arrhenius theory. According to the Arrhenius theory, I told you that bases are the substances that produce the hydroxide ions in its water medium. Similarly, if you come to the Lowry-Bronsted concept, your bases are the substances which are very good proton acceptor. As far as the Lewis concept is concerned, the bases are the substances which donate a pair of the electrons. That I am going to write. So you please write along with me. Please keep your book and copy and everything ready with me. So let us start with the concept of the base. Concept of the base. Let me write down. Concept of the base. First you see that Arrhenius theory. Arrhenius theory. According to the Arrhenius theory, base produce hydroxyl or hydroxide ions. Okay? And according to the Lowry-Bronsted concept, Lowry-Bronsted theory, base are good proton acceptor. Proton acceptor, okay? And similarly, according to the Lewis concept, base always give a pair of electrons. Give a pair of electrons. Okay? So again, I want to repeat that. According to the Arrhenius theory, bases are the substances which produce the hydroxide ions or OH ions in its water medium or aqueous solution. Similarly, in case of the Lowry-Bronsted theory, bases are the good proton acceptor. And similarly, according to the Lewis concept, base always give a pair of the electrons to another substances. These are the very common concept of the base. Right now we will go to learn about the classification of the base. So please try to understand along with me and to write down classification of the base. Classification of the base. Classification of base. In fact, the bases are classified according to the two parameters. One is according to the strength and second one is according to the acidity. So let me write down according to the strength, and second one is according to the acidity. So now you have to understand how it is applicable the strength and acidity for the classification of the base. I will explain that. So according to the strength, the base may be the strong or the base may be the weak. And similarly, according to the acidity, the bases are classified into, one is your monoacidic base, second one is the diacidic base, and third one is triacidic base. Okay, so now I want to explain you in detail. Strong base. Strong base, as I told you that base produce the hydroxide ions, and according to the strength, the bases are classified into strong base and weak base. Okay, strong base and weak base. Now you see, strength means the strength depends upon the amount of the hydroxide ions produced in water medium. It is the availability of the hydroxide ions. So if a base can ionize completely in water medium so that it produces the maximum amount of the hydroxide ions, the availability of the hydroxide ions are maximum, it has the strong affinity towards the proton, then the base will be told as strong base. You can take an example of the sodium hydroxide and your potassium hydroxide. And this sodium hydroxide plus water, it will produce your sodium ion plus your hydroxide ion. Similarly, your potassium hydroxide also produce your potassium ion and hydroxide ions. Right? They are the strong base. Now come to the weak base. In case of the weak base, the ionization is not complete. It is incomplete ionization. So the availability of the production of the hydroxide ion is poor. So the base is known as the weak base. It has the less affinity towards the proton. Weak base example, you see that I am giving an example here for weak base. You can take the example of the ammonium hydroxide plus water. It will produce your ammonium ion plus your hydroxide ion. Similarly, you can take one more also, magnesium hydroxide plus water. It will also give you Mg2 plus 2OH minus. So in this way, the strength of the base can be explained, and the bases are a strong base and the weak base. Again, I want to repeat, strong base means the base in which the ionization is complete and it has the strong affinity towards the proton, and the more amount of the hydroxide ion get produced in the solution. But in a weak base, the opposite one. Okay? So now come to the acidity. What do you mean by the acidity of a base? Acidity means if a base molecule produce the number of the hydroxide ions. Suppose a base molecule produce one hydroxide ion, then it is called your monoacidic. So one hydroxide ion can neutralize with one hydrogen ion. Similarly, in case of diacidic base, it produces two hydroxide ions which can be neutralized with two hydrogen ions. And similarly, in case of the triacidic, I want to give you the examples of that. Monoacidic base, you can take an example of the sodium hydroxide. It may be the potassium hydroxide also. If you see, it has only the one hydroxide ion. Okay, it furnishes only one hydroxide ion which can be neutralized with one hydrogen ion. So this is under the category of the monoacidic. In case of the diacidic base, you can take the example of the calcium hydroxide, or you may take an example of the magnesium hydroxide also. Here you see how many hydroxide ions are here? Two hydroxide ions are here. Okay, and in case of the triacidic base, you can take an example of aluminium hydroxide. Okay, so in this way we can able to classify the base according to the strength and the acidity. Well, so now we will see the physical properties and the chemical properties of the base. So let me start with the physical properties. Physical properties of the base. So you also write along with me, physical properties of the base. As I told you just before, all the bases are having the bitter taste and they have the soapy touch. Okay, so let me start with the first one. They have the bitter taste. Second one, you can write soapy touch. Soapy touch means if you touch any of the base, it will be slippery. Okay, that is called a soapy touch. Third one is bases are the good conductor of electricity in its aqueous solution. So you also write that good conductor of electricity in aqueous solution. And the bases also possess high melting and boiling points. Possess high melting, high MP and BP. MP means your melting point and BP means boiling point. Okay? And at last you can also write bases are water soluble. They are soluble in water. But here one thing you remember that all bases are not water soluble. The bases which are water soluble, they are known as alkali. I am writing it here. Water soluble bases are called alkali. So do remember this. Okay? So these are the physical properties of the base. Again I want to repeat. Bases are having the bitter taste. They have the soapy touch. Soapy touch means slippery. Bases are the good conductor of electricity in aqueous solution. Bases possess the high melting point and boiling point. They are soluble in water. Okay? And after the physical properties, now come to know about the chemical properties of the bases. So let me explain chemical properties of the bases. Chemical properties of the bases. Okay? Let us start with a metal. When a metal react with a base, what will form? It will form the salt plus hydrogen. You can take an example of your zinc plus your sodium hydroxide as a base. So when the zinc react with the sodium hydroxide, it will form sodium zincate, Na2ZnO2 plus hydrogen gas will be produced. One more example you can take, aluminium plus sodium hydroxide. It will form sodium aluminate plus hydrogen. Sodium aluminate, NaAlO2. So this is the one of the chemical property. Second property I can write that you take the non-metal oxide react with base. What will form? When the non-metal oxide react with the base, salt and water will form, and it is a type of the neutralization reaction. Let me write down salt and water. Okay? We can take an example of that. In case of the non-metal oxide, I am taking the carbon dioxide plus base is the sodium hydroxide, and it will form your sodium carbonate, Na2CO3 plus water. Sodium carbonate is a salt. Similarly, you can take the carbon dioxide plus calcium hydroxide. It will form your calcium carbonate plus water. So in both the cases, you see that salt and water is forming. Next one, you can take that acid react with base, what will form? I have already told you in a previous session also, when acid react with the base, salt and water is forming, and this is a very common neutralization reaction. So salt and water. You can take an example of the acid HCl plus base, you can take sodium hydroxide, it will form your salt, sodium chloride plus water. Okay? So these are your physical and chemical properties of the base. Right now, we have to discuss about the strength of the base. Strength of the base, how we can able to find it out and how we can able to measure the strength of the base. That I want to explain you. Let me write down the strength of the base. In fact, I told you earlier that the strength of the base depend upon the availability or amount of the hydroxide ions present in it. Strength also depend upon the concentration. There is a unit to express the concentration of the solution, that is called molarity. So you have to know the definition of the molarity also. Molarity means the number of the moles of the solute present in per liter of the solution. Okay? So let me start writing. strength depend on amount of or availability of hydroxide ions and concentration. Okay, the unit of the concentration generally we use molarity. So how can we define the molarity? I am writing it here. Molarity means M is equal to, it is the moles of the solute per liter solution. Okay, moles of the solute, number of the moles of the solute present in 1 liter of the solution will give you the mole or molarity. But how can we express that? That is a symbol. The symbol is we express the molarity giving the square bracket. If you want to write down the hydrogen concentration, we can write it in this way, H plus, keeping it inside the square bracket. That is your expressing the hydrogen ion. Okay. Now you see, strength of base can also be measured by using the pH paper and pH scale. Now you have to understand what do you mean by the pH or pH scale. I want to explain that. So let me write down what is pH and pH scale. If you remember, in my previous session I told you that acid can be tested using the pH paper. Okay. So pH, how to write it? The P will be the small and H will be the capital. This is also called the power of the hydrogen or the potential of the hydrogen. pH gives you the amount of the hydrogen ion. pH can decide a solution, it may be whether it will be acidic or basic. The definition of the pH is, it is the negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration. So pH is equal to minus log H plus. This is the actual definition of the pH, negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration. Okay, so you see that I told you about the pH paper. pH paper is available in the lab. So while testing the acid and base, we are taking the pH paper and dipping it inside the solution. Then you can find that there will be the color changes. So due to the color changes, you can say that whether the solution is acid or base. What may be the strength of that solution? But how to say that color change can be compared with a pH scale. So now I want to explain you what is the pH scale. So before going to explain the pH scale, I have to also tell how the pH paper is made. pH paper is made with a filter paper. It is coated with the universal indicator. That pH paper is used for acid as well as for the base for the testing. Okay. Well, so now come to pH scale. What do you mean by the pH scale? pH scale is a scale by which we can able to compare the strength of the acid or base. Okay. It consists of a long strip of the paper. Divided with different color bands like this. Different color bands, and at the center the color is your green color, and the green color is considered to be the neutral. Okay, as you go towards the left of the green, the color slowly and gradually changes to your yellow, orange, red and the dark red. And similarly, if you move towards the right of the green, then the color changes to purple and at last it will be dark blue color. And this pH scale is calibrated with a value. The ranges of the value is 0 to 14. And the color which is the green, that is the 7. It means the pH value 7 is considered to be the neutral. Neutral means it is neither acidic nor basic. So let me write down pH 7. pH is equal to 7 is the neutral. Okay. And if the pH is less than 7, then the solution is acidic. And if the pH is greater than 7, then it is basic. So I mean to say that the acidic character increases from green towards the red. Similarly, the basic character or the basic nature increases from green to blue. Okay, so in this way you can decide that what is the strength of the base or maybe the acid. Okay, and suppose you see that the pH of a solution is 0, 1 or 2 or 3 like that, they are regarded as the strong acid. If the pH is 6, 5 or 6, they are regarded as the weak acid. Similarly, the bases having the pH your 8, 9, 10, they are the weak bases. And if they have the pH that is your 10 or 11 or 12, 13, they are the strong base. Right? So in this way, you can have the idea about the strength of the acid or the base using the pH scale. Now, the pH scale is equalized with the indicator. These are the indicators because that indicators the strength of the acid or base. So now we will read what is the indicator and what are the different type of the indicators. So let me write down and I will explain you about the indicator. Indicators are the substances either in the form of the paper strip or maybe the solution which are used to identify the acid and base through the change of the color. Indicators are of the 4 types. There are the 4 types. First one is the natural indicator. Second one is your synthetic indicator. Third one is olfactory indicator. And the fourth one is universal indicator. Okay, so now I have to explain you one by one. Natural indicator, as the name says, they are made from the nature. Natural indicators are, examples are your litmus, it may be the turmeric, beetroot, red cabbage, China rose. So these all are the natural indicators. Okay, examples. This is your one, examples of the one, you can write that litmus, turmeric, beetroot, red cabbage, China rose, these all are your natural indicators. You have to know something about the litmus because we use the litmus most often as an indicator in the lab and everywhere. Litmus is the prepared from a dye, D-Y-E, a color dye. It is prepared from a plant species belonging to the division Thallophyta. And the name is lichen, L-I-C-H-E-N. Again I repeat, litmus is prepared from the lichen and it is a color dye. Okay, color dye, and that plant species belongs to the plant division Thallophyta. Litmus is coming to market either in the form of the paper strip or maybe in the form of the solution. They have the 2 colors, red and the blue. Red litmus or maybe the blue litmus or maybe the red litmus solution or maybe the blue litmus solution. They are used to test the acid or base. Then you see your synthetic indicator. The synthetic indicators are also known as chemical indicator. They are, the examples are your, let me write down here, the examples of the synthetic indicator. Again I repeat, synthetic indicators are your chemical indicators, synthetic indicator, chemical indicators, and examples are your methyl orange and phenolphthalein. Okay, then come to the olfactory indicator. Olfactory indicators are relating to the sense of the smell. You can take an example of the olfactory indicator, just like I can give you the 2 examples, onion and vanilla flavor. This onion and the vanilla flavor produce a particular smell in acidic solution or acidic medium, but it has no smell in the basic medium. So it is your olfactory indicators. Okay. Now come to the universal indicator. As I told you earlier, universal indicator is the common indicator which is prepared by the mixing of the 2 or different type of indicators, and One indicator is used to test acid and the base. Okay, in acid universal indicator will give the red color, and in base universal indicator will produce blue color. Well, after that I want to give you the color changes in your indicators. You can make a small table for that. In this way you can able to understand. Let me write in this way: acid, then you write the base, and here you write the indicator. Okay, I am writing the indicator, the litmus indicator. See that I told you that these are of the two colors, blue color and the red color. So in acid you write that blue litmus changes to red. Okay, blue litmus changes to red in acidic solution, and in basic solution red litmus changes to blue. Okay, now take the turmeric. In fact, in acidic medium it gives the yellow color, and in the basic medium it gives you red color, right? Then come to the methyl orange. This methyl orange give you the red color in acid and yellow color in base. Red color in acid and yellow color in base. Okay, at last come to the phenolphthalein. This indicator will be the colorless in acidic medium and pink color in basic medium. Okay, do remember that. And after that I want to explain you. Next one is the importance of the pH in our everyday life. This is also most important for you to understand. Importance of the pH in our everyday life. Let me write down. Importance of pH in our everyday life. So I start from our digestive system. Okay, digestive system. As you know that we eat food, and the food goes to the stomach, and in the stomach our food is get to be digested with the help of the hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid secrete in our stomach which activate the pepsin, the enzyme. Do you know that what is the you can say that pH of the HCl that is secreted in our stomach? It is about your 2. It is highly reactive, but sometimes over secretion of the acid create the problem to us. That is called your acidity, and to get the relief from the acidity we have to take antacid. The common antacid we use is known as your milk of magnesia, and the chemical formula is magnesium hydroxide. Okay, second thing, you can take that your tooth decay. It is a very common problem nowadays in among all group of the students or maybe the children. In fact, our mouth is having a proper pH. Do remember, in our mouth the pH should be 5.5. Okay, it means it is neither too acidic nor too basic. But due to taking of the acidic food or maybe the sweet foods, the tooth problem start. How it start? The small food particles stick in between the teeth, and they do not come out even after the brushing or the gargling. That small food particles remaining inside the teeth, and they start to decompose, and the bacteria grow. That bacteria produce an acid. That acid spoil the enamel layer of our teeth. Enamel is the hardest layer in our teeth. That layer gets spoiled due to that acid. So the tooth decay is responsible for our change in pH. So it is our duty to maintain the hygiene in our mouth. We should maintain the pH 5.5 approximately inside our mouth. Okay. Next one I can give you that farmers use calcium hydroxide. Farmers use the calcium hydroxide or the slack lime in their field to reduce the acidity of the soil. In fact, actually what happened, the farmers use different type of the fertilizers in course of the agricultural practices. That fertilizers make the soil acidic. Sometimes due to acid rain, the soil also become the acidic. So the acidic soil is not good for the growth of the crop or maybe the plant. That acidic soil should be neutralized. So hence the farmers use a base, that is your calcium hydroxide or the slaked lime, to reduce the acidity of the soil. Similarly, one more example I can give you. The milkmen use sodium bicarbonate, NaCO3. The milkmen use a pinch of the baking powder in the fresh milk during the summer season. Why do so? During the summer season, due to the warm climate, the milk may be converted into the curd. There are the chances of the souring of the milk. Okay, the milk may be spoiled. So to prevent the getting the milk to be sour or maybe the curdling, the milkmen use a pinch of the sodium bicarbonate so that the milk will remain safe. Similarly, you can find that there are certain insects who are secreting the acid or bases for their self-defense. For example, red ant or maybe the honeybees. When they bite, we have the burning sensation. The burning sensation actually comes from the formic acid. They produce the methanoic acid or formic acid. So to get relief from the burning due to the biting of your honeybees, we have to put a base like your sodium bicarbonate like this. Similarly, there is a wasp. The sting of the wasp contains the alkaline solution. That also painful if it bites. At that time, we can use the acidic solution to get relief. We can use you can say that you dilute acidic acid or vinegar. Okay? So in this way, we can use the pH in our everyday life. After that, I want to tell the uses of the common bases. So you have to also remember that. I have taken very few. Write down the uses of common base. Let me start from the sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is also known as the caustic soda. Okay? Sodium hydroxide is used to make paper. It is used in the paper industry. It is also used in soap and detergent making. Soap and the detergent making. Okay? Then come to know that calcium hydroxide. I told you now, calcium hydroxide is known as the slaked lime, that is used by the farmers to reduce the acidity of the soil, and also the calcium hydroxide is used to make the bleaching powder. Write down, to make bleaching powder. To make bleaching powder and to reduce acidity of the soil. Acidity of soil. Okay? Next one, we can write that your magnesium hydroxide, which is a very common base that is used as antacid to reduce the acidity. Used as antacid. Used as antacid. Next one, you can take ammonium hydroxide, NH4OH, ammonium hydroxide. Ammonium hydroxide is used to make the hair dye for the coloring of the hair, and it is also used as stain remover. So let me write down, used to make hair color and used as stain remover. Okay, so I have now told you the uses of common bases. Okay, so well, my dear students, at last I want to recapitulate whatever we learned today. First of all, I told you the definition of the base. Then I told you the concept of the base according to the Arrhenius theory, Bronsted-Lowry theory, and the Lewis concept. Then I told you the classification of the bases according to the strength and according to the acidity. Then I told you the properties of the bases. I told you the physical properties and the chemical properties of the bases. Then I told you the strength of the base and pH scale and pH paper and the use of that. Okay? Then I told you the indicators and its types. What are the different type of the indicators? And then I also explained you how the indicators change the color. in acidic medium and in the basic medium. And then I told you the importance of the pH in our everyday life, giving you the so many examples. And at last, I told you the uses of the common bases, okay, in our everyday life. So, my dear children, you please go through this. Right now, I want to give you the assignment of my session, and do remember you have to solve the assignment and you have to post it in ERP. This assignment is the part of your PT1, so please do remember. So now please write down the assignment of my session. I am writing here the questions, and also you can get the assignment from the ERP also. Assignment question number 1, that is you write a short note on classification of base. Classification of base. The second question is, what is called indicator? What is called indicator? Write its types and uses. My third question is, write any 3 chemical properties of the base. Write any 3 chemical properties of base. And the fourth question and the last question is, what is the pH scale? pH scale. Explain the importance of it. Explain its importance in our everyday life. So these are the questions. It is in your assignment and it is already uploaded in the ERP. You have to do that, and again I want to repeat, this is the part of your PT1. You have to do that, and after doing, you have to post the answer in the ERP. Thank you very much, and see you next.